There's a quiet moment you recognize instantly. You're in a room full of people your age, but you feel slightly out of sync, like you arrived years earlier than everyone else. You listen more than you speak, and when you do speak, you notice the pause that follows. It's not awkward, just delayed. Later, you replay conversations in your head. Not because you said something wrong, but because you felt something deeper than what was acknowledged. There's a faint embarrassment in realizing you've always felt this way, even as a child. Older on the inside, heavier, slower, as if time settled into you early and never really left. Most people assume this means you're mature, serious, or too intense. Some say you're boring. Others say you worry too much. A few mistake your silence for distance or arrogance. But what they're reacting to isn't a flaw. It's a pattern, one that formed long before you had words for it. Feeling emotionally older than your age isn't about being better or worse. It's about being shaped differently. Psychologically, this pattern often appears when someone learned early that emotions needed to be managed internally. Not expressed loudly, not shared freely, just held. Modern life didn't create this feeling, but it amplifies it. Fast conversations, shallow reactions, constant noise. You move through it all with an internal pace that feels slower, denser, more deliberate. Like you're listening to a different rhythm. Often, this emotional age gap comes from environments where being observant mattered more than being expressive, where noticing shifts in mood kept things stable, where understanding people was a quiet form of safety. Not something celebrated, just necessary. Over time, that sensitivity becomes internalized as being older. Not in years, but in weight, in how seriously you take small moments others brush past, and how little you need to be surprised. If this resonates, certain traits tend to cluster together. Not as symptoms, but as signatures. Here are the ones that most often appear. You may recognize them immediately. 1. You process emotions before you express them. You rarely react immediately. Feelings move inward first, where they're sorted, named, weighed. By the time you speak, the moment has often passed. 2. You felt responsible earlier than most. Not necessarily for tasks, but for moods, outcomes, consequences. You learned that awareness mattered, that noticing was safer than ignoring. 3. You're more comfortable with depth than frequency. Few connections, but meaningful ones. Surface-level interaction drains you, not because you dislike people, but because it feels incomplete, like stopping mid-thought. 4. You anticipate emotional outcomes. You sense how situations will land before they do, not as prediction, more like recognition. A familiarity with endings. 5. You relate more to time than to trends. You're less interested in what's new, more in what lasts. Conversations about meaning, patterns, and continuity feel natural to you. They don't feel heavy, they feel accurate. This pattern didn't emerge randomly. It formed in response to environments that rewarded emotional awareness over expression. In earlier contexts, this trait helped people navigate uncertainty, to sense shifts before they became visible. In the future, this same pattern carries a different kind of edge, not speed, but endurance. Feeling emotionally older isn't about missing out. It's about carrying a different internal clock. If this feels uncomfortably accurate, it's because it names something you've lived with quietly, not a flaw, not a phase, just a way of moving through the world, slower, deeper, earlier.